Okay, boys and girls, we are talking about text and graphic features. Now, when we're talking about text features, they help present important parts of the story in a different way for us. And we're talking about punctuation. We're talking about things such as dashes and colons, and they can indicate or tell us that important parts of the text can follow. So we look for those because they point special things to us. They let us know that there's important things coming up. Now, the kinds of type, or the way that the text is presented to us, can also show emphasis or show us that there's a title. So when we're looking at the type or the way that the text is written, we could be looking for boldface. This is an example of boldface where the type is written like darker and thicker. Capital letters, if it's written in all capital letters. Sometimes that'll show that maybe something's really important or somebody is shouting. We can have italic letters where it's like slanted. Large letters where something's written larger. But sometimes we have things written in all small letters. And that will mean that a character or somebody who might be speaking is whispering. And then sometimes things are written in color letters. And so those would be text features. We also have graphic features. Graphics would be things like a type of picture. Those would be illustrations or visuals, such as illustrations, diagrams, maps, and speech bubbles that help explain ideas in the text. So here we have a boy and a girl, they're talking, and what do we have? We have speech bubbles, and they're talking. Now sometimes we see bubbles, and instead of having these little speech ones, we have little bubbly things. What are the little bubbly things that are above people's heads, and we have those? What would those show?
That they're talking.
Well, sometimes we have them above their heads, and instead of them talking, sometimes we see what they're thinking. We have thinking bubbles as well. We can have talking bubbles, and we can have thinking bubbles above characters' heads, so we know what they're thinking. And we will sometimes see these in graphic novels that we read, where we can see characters like that. We can also see maps. A map can be in an informational text. It could be in just a novel, like, let's say, The Magic Tree House might have a map. Who's ever read a Magic Tree House? I think all of us have read Magic Tree House, and we see a map in it. So that is a graphic feature. Now today we're going to be reading a story called Percy to the Rescue. And we are going to want to be looking for we're going to be looking for text and graphic features in Percy to the Rescue. So the first thing we're going to do on our graphic organizer for text and graphic features is we're going to write Percy to the Rescue. Percy to the Rescue. We want to write our title, Percy to the Rescue. So everybody, on this page, let's write Percy to the Rescue. Percy to the Rescue. And this is realistic fiction. So realistic fiction is the type of story that can happen. It's not a true story, but it is the type of story that it can happen. It has realistic characters in it. They talk in a real way. It has situations that could happen in real life, but it hasn't happened in real life. So let's get looking at it. Let's get reading. Oh, now one of the things that I'm noticing right away, here's a text feature. Look how it has the contents. It's in red, and it's bigger than the other text on the page. That stands out to me. So the table of contents, the contents, do you see that's a text feature, boys and girls? It's in red, it's bigger than the other words on the page. So that, it stands out. Is everybody noticing that, how that stands out for us? So we can notice that right away. red, bigger than the other words. And here also in the title, Percy, to the rescue, it's in colored print. It's bigger than all the other things on the page. Okay? Chapter 1. Oh, look. We've got something right here. We're going to be looking for text and graphic features as we read our story. That's what we're going to be our focus today. That's what we're looking for. So we're starting. Okay, we're on page 2. So let's start. You know what? Let's read it all together. I'm going to count. We're going to read together. 1, 2, 3. On his face. He couldn't wait to get home from school. You sure look excited about something, said Mrs. Judd as she parked outside Tom's house. Okay? So let's look at our next page. How about if I read this one? I am, replied Tom. My family is getting a new pet. He's a parrot called Percy. He'll be waiting for me when I get inside. Mrs. Judd helped Tom wheel his chair out of the taxi. Mom and Dad and I are going to teach Percy to talk, said Tom. Have fun together, said Mrs. Judd as she drove away. So there we go. I think I'm going to have this read it for us.
Tom's mom and dad worked from home. They were writers. But when Tom went inside, Mom and Dad weren't in their office. They were sitting in front of a big cage in the living room. Inside the cage was Percy. Present for Percy, said Mom as she fed seeds to the parrot. Present for Percy. Hello, Percy, said Tom. Pretty boy, said Dad to Percy. Pretty boy. Can he say anything yet? Asked Tom. The parrot rescue people said it could take a few weeks before he talks, said Mom. We have to be very patient, added Dad, and talk to him a lot.
Okay, so now what I want us to do is we have some graphic features on this page, on pages 4 and 5. So I want us, right here, page number, I want you to write page 4 and 5. 4 and 5. So we're just going to go like this. We're going to go 4 and 5 in the little box. So on pages 4 and 5, we're looking at 4 and 5 here. What do we call these? What is this called? What kind of feature is this? We're looking at this and this. What is this called in a book? Yes.
Photographs?
These aren't photographs. You're close, but what are these called, Elisa? They're not, there's another word for them. Yes.
Illustration.
They're an illustration, thank you. So that's what we're gonna write, because these are illustrations. Because they're not a photograph, because a photograph would have like real people in them or real things, and those are just drawings. So let's write, right here, where it says type of feature, we're gonna write illustrations. And now we have to figure out, what is this helping us understand? What are we understanding on this page? So now let's look at our picture. What are we understanding here by looking at this picture? We add the words, and these are adding to our understanding of what's going on. So what are we understanding from looking at these pictures? What are we finding out? What can we tell by looking at this picture? Look at Tom. Look at his mom and dad. What do we know here? Yes, Teddy.
That all the characters are happy.
They're happy and they're what? Yes.
They're
Surprised or
excited.
they're excited. Yes, I like that word. That is kind of the word that I'm thinking of too. That we could say that Tom and his parents are happy and excited to have Percy. Tom and his parents are happy and excited to have Percy. Okay, so Tom and his parents are really excited to have Percy. And that's what that illustration is showing us. So let's all write that down. Okay, remember we have to write small enough so we can fit that in there. That's just kind of one sentence. I think you should have room for that. Is everyone having room to write that? Good. Okay, so now let's keep reading. Oh, now look. Well, we'll read the page. and then
Chapter
we'll look.
2. Clever boy. Mom, Dad, and Tom talked to Percy all the time. Percy pretended not to pay any attention, but he did like watching TV. Percy's favorite program was Police Patrol. When the police cars raced along the highway with their sirens going, Percy paid extra attention. And after 3 weeks, Percy began to talk. He said his first words on a Monday morning. Tom was eating breakfast with Mom and Dad before he went to school. Suddenly, Percy said, "Hello, hello." Tom dropped his spoon. Dad stopped chewing his cereal. Mom almost spilled her coffee. Pretty boy, said Percy. Clever boy, said Tom. Clever boy, said Percy right back to him.
Okay, now let's look here. Do you see anything that is a text or graphic feature? What do you see? Do you see one, Teddy?
When it says clever boy, it's big and bold and red.
Yeah, it's big and bold and red. Very good. Right here, where it says clever boy. Why do you think they have it like that? Why do you think it's like that, Teddy?
Because it stands out.
So it stands out. It's the chapter what?
The chapter name.
It's the name of the chapter. It's the chapter title. Very good, Teddy. So now let's put that. So for, what page number was that?
6 and 7.
Okay, so that's on page 6. So we have a chapter title. And it says, Pretty Boy. Is that what it said, Pretty Boy?
Clever boy.
It's called Clever Boy? So we'll write Clever Boy. Is in bold red letters. So we know it is the title of the chapter. So it is the title of the chapter. Okay, good, we're doing good. Does everybody have that written down? No, okay, finish. It's pretty boy. Or clever boy, I guess, clever boy. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. See what else we can find.
Outside, Mrs. Judd tooted the taxi van's horn. "Off you go to school," said Mom to Tom. "I want to stay home and listen to Percy," said Tom. "I don't want to go to school." "To school! Go to school!" squawked Percy. Everyone looked at the cage. Then they all started laughing. Chapter 3. Shh! By the end of the week, Percy's chatter wasn't so funny anymore. On Friday night, Dad said, "I can't hear the radio when Percy is talking all the time. He's been copying the ringtone on my cell phone," said Mom. "Every time I go to answer the phone, no one is there."
Okay, do we see any text or graphic features? Libby, what do we see? Tell me what it is. I didn't hear you. Oh yeah, it says shh. It says shh right here. It said it's, are you talking about over here? No, wait, where did it go? Oh, shh. Yes, right there. Shh. I was looking over there. It says shh. And then it tells us what? What does this shh mean? Why is it like that, do you think? What does the shh mean? What's the shh mean?
Stop talking.
I mean, stop talking. And why do they have it in red and bold letters? Why is it in the red bold letters? Mikey, why is it in the red bold letters?
Because it's a chapter title.
It's the chapter title, and they have the chapter titles in that red. Do you see another text or graphic feature on this page? Ethan?
Ring.
Ring, and it's in a what? What do we call that? What do we call that?
Speech.
Oh, I'm mouthing it to you, but you can't see my mouth. A speech, what is it, Elisa?
Bubble.
It's a speech bubble. A speech bubble. So it's in a speech bubble. And why do they have it in a speech bubble?
Because it's
Because who's saying it?
bird.
Who's saying it?
The bird.
The bird, Percy's saying it. So we have it there. Very good. So now we know that Percy keeps saying all these different things. Is the family as thrilled with Percy at this point? No. They're getting kind of annoyed with Percy. Okay, so we're not going to write the sh anymore because we've already done a title, but we are going to write the speech bubble. So that is on page, what page was that? 9. We're going to go page 9, and it is a speech bubble. So let's write speech bubble. so now we know that Percy can make a doorbell or the sound. Was that the doorbell?
Or it was on the phone.
Can make a phone sound. So that is what that text feature is telling us. So boys and girls, when you're reading a story, you are seeing all sorts of text and graphic features, and you notice them, and you probably don't even think twice about them. Okay, did everybody write that? Are you ready for me to go to the next page of the story?
Percy woke us up around midnight last night, said Dad. We thought we heard the alarm clock, said Mom. Then we found the alarm was coming from Percy's cage. At least he's quiet when the TV is on, said Tom. Percy really likes watching TV. TV! TV! Squawked Percy. By Sunday afternoon, Percy had learned how to make doorbell sounds. I go to the door, but no one is there, said Tom. On Sunday night, Mom said, I can hear a rumble. Who turned on the washing machine? But the rumble was coming from Percy.
Okay, so now what do we have here? We have got another what? What is that, Elisa?
Speech bubble.
Speech bubble. And what sound is he making now?
Alarm clock.
He's making an alarm clock sound. We have another speech bubble here. What sound is he making now? What's he making now, Ethan?
Ding dong.
He's making a ding dong, and the ding dong is what sound?
Like a doorbell
A
sound.
doorbell sound. So now he's making a doorbell and an alarm clock sound. So look at those sounds. So we're getting those sounds. So we have two more speech bubble sounds. Okay, now we're going to go to this page. We're not going to write those because we already wrote about them.
On Monday morning at breakfast, Mrs. Judd's taxi horn went beep, beep. I'm sure it's not taxi time yet, said Dad. It's not even 8 o'clock. Then everyone looked at Percy. Uh-oh, said Tom. Percy can make beep, beep noises. Chapter 4, Problems with Percy. When Tom came home from school on Friday, Mom and Dad looked very worried. What's wrong? Asked Tom. We can't get any work done, said Mom. Percy talks non-stop all day. Percy is a big problem, said Dad anxiously. Blum, squawked Percy.
Okay, now I want you to look on page 12. Look on page 12. Do you notice any text features on page 12? Petty,
Punctuations.
you see punctuation? Yeah, I see punctuation. I see something else though. Who else sees it? Elisa, what do you see? Beep. You see beep beep. And what do we call that? What is beep beep? What is that called? Kelsey? You know the way beep beep is written. Do you remember what that's
I
called?
forgot what it's called.
What's it called, Ethan?
A car horn.
Yeah, yes, it's a car horn, but the way the text is written. Does anybody remember what that's called? So we're on, that's page 12, right? Okay, so we're gonna go, I'm gonna tell you. So on page 12, we have italics. Remember, it's when the text is slanted.
Yeah.
So that is beep beep. Percy makes a beep beep sound like a car. Beep beep sound like a car. Like that's the car sound, right? Makes a beep beep sound like a car. Okay, now here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me, why do you think that that text is italics? Why did they write it with the italics? Let's go look at that again. Beep beep. Why do you think they wrote it like that? Yes?
Because it's a word and a sound.
It's a word and a sound. It makes the same sound. Word and sound. Beep beep sounds the same. It's an onomatopoeia word, right? So it sounds the same. The sound it makes is the same as the word. So we get that idea that he is doing that. Okay. Are things going well with Percy, Mikey?
Yeah.
He is, what's he doing to the family?
He's thinking that like annoyed.
He's making them annoyed, for sure. Okay, next page.
Let's all go for a walk to the park, said Mom. It's quiet at the park. We can talk about Percy there. Dad put Percy back in his cage. Be a good boy, he said as everyone went out the door. Good boy, squawked Percy. At the park, Mom and Dad said that Percy would have to go back to the parrot rescue. We can't think when he talks so much, said Mom. Percy is a nice parrot, said Dad, but he's not the pet for us. Tom felt so sad that he thought he might cry. All the way home from the park, he tried to think of a way that Percy could stay. Tom was still thinking when they arrived home. He saw that the front door was wide open. I know I shut that door, said Dad suddenly. Two men came running out of the house and down the front path. They almost knocked Mom and Dad over. Hey, shouted Dad, what do you think you're doing?
Okay, do we see anything on here? We have our illustration. Oh, what do you think is up with these men? Who do you think these men are? Who do you think these men are? Teddy?
Robbers.
Robbers. What gives you the idea that they're robbers?
They're in black clothes.
They're in black clothes, and robbers wear black clothes. So let's go to our page. This is page, let's go to our graphic organizer. This is page 17. So we'll go to page 17. I'm going to have to start a new page. So this is page 17. We'll look, that's an illustration. Who's ever drumming needs to stop. And we're going to say the robbers are wearing black clothes. Okay, so our robbers are wearing black clothes. So maybe it's more useful than we thought.
Mom and Dad rushed up the path and into the house. Tom was right behind them. In the hallway was a big pile of things. The TV, Mom's purse, Tom's computer, and Dad's golf clubs. "We've been robbed," said Mom. "Almost robbed," said Dad. "But what scared the burglars away?" asked Tom before anyone could answer. A loud police siren began to wail. The noise was coming from the kitchen.
Oh my, what do you think, what is the police siren? What's the police siren, Ethan?
Percy.
Percy, I bet it's Percy. Let's check and see if we're right. Oh,
Chapter 5, Parrot Protection. Everyone went into the kitchen. "It's Percy," said Mom. "He's making those police siren noises that he copied from the TV. So that's what scared the burglars away," said Dad. "Good parrot, Percy. He must have learned siren sounds from Police Patrol," said Mom. "It's his favorite TV program." "I told you Percy was a clever parrot," said Tom.
okay. So what do we have on this page? Do we have any text or graphic features? Any here? Do you see any on this page? What are some? Yes,
The bold letters on the
hair
parrot protection.
protection. We still have room, don't we still have some room on our page? Yeah, let's write them. We're gonna do that. So parent protection, let's write it. So what page number is that, Kelsey?
20.
Is it 20? 20. So what we have there is, what did we call that?
A chapter title.
Chapter title. Chapter title. So we have a title, a chapter title. And so it is in red, the chapter title is in red bold print. Is in red bold print. So it stands out. That way it pops out on the page so we could see it. Yes.
On page 21, there's in police patrols in italic letters.
Oh, italic letters. Yes, good catch. We are definitely going to write that. So on page 21, it says, we have italics again. And what word is in italics?
Police patrol.
Police patrol. The word's police patrol. And why is it in italics? Because it's a what?
Because it's a TV program.
Yes, the TV show. Police Patrol. Is in italics. Okay. It helps us know that it's like something special, like a TV show. Because, boys and girls, you know how book titles are underlined? Well, TV shows are not underlined. But they want us to know that it's a TV show. They want it to be special, so we recognize that it's the name of something special. So they put it in italics, so we know that it is the name of something special, like a TV show. So TV shows will be italicized sometimes, so we know it's a TV show, because that's a made-up TV show, okay? Okay.
"We can't send Percy back to the rescue now," said Tom. "He's a very useful parrot. But how can we work when he talks all day?" asked Mom. "I know," said Tom. "Percy is silent when he's watching a TV program. When you and Dad are working, Percy can watch television. I guess he deserves it, said Dad. He does, agreed Mom. Tom couldn't stop smiling. What do you think about that, Percy? He asked. TV! Squawked Percy as he ran up and down his perch. TV for me! TV for me! Coming right up, said Tom, and everyone laughed.
Well, there you go. So we learned about Percy, we learned about text and graphic features, we looked for them, we found them, so that was a good job, boys and girls. I don't know why they just didn't cover Percy's cage. Who knows? So there, good job.